Hi everyone, today's DVD is on how to use your coloured pipe don't paint when you receive it. Basically you are going to need a palette knife, a pair of scissors, a card or a scraper which you can buy at most cake decorating shops, your piping nozzles that you want to pipe with, a piping bag, whether you use the paper piping bag or your disposable piping bag that comes with pipe don't paint, and of course your pipe don't paint product. Today we're going to use gold. Alright, so at the moment you push all of this aside. First thing you need is of course your pipe don't paint. Now we have now put the pipe don't paint into two bags. Basically the product is in one, and then we have resealed it into another bag so that you have a disposable piping bag that you can use to put your piping tubes in to use to pipe your pipe don't paint. Okie dokie, so the first thing you need to do is cut along this line here, which enables you want to get it as close to the top as possible of the line so that you can have as big a piping bag as possible to use for whatever. Even if you don't use this for pipe don't paint, you might want to use it for buttercream or whatever, and they can be washed so you can reuse them. Alright, inside your bag you will find a container which has the colour on the top on a label, so that way you don't get your colours mixed up even though it is a see-through container. You have your disposable piping bag, and you also have your coloured pipe don't paint. Alright, I'm going to take the lid off the container because you need to mix your pipe don't paint before you actually use it. I always suggest giving a quick mix just before you use it, even if you've got it sitting in a bowl. Alright, so you can get rid of this for the time being. Alright, what I normally do is scrape the pipe don't paint up a little bit, that way you're not wasting any when you cut it. Basically snip across here with your scissors, throw that away, and then into your container squeeze out your coloured pipe don't paint. Now you do this for the glitters, the paints, and of course the luster powders like the gold. Alright, now there's a little bit left in there, so to get all of it out, basically get your card and scrape it down. So you can scrape it down to the bottom. Try and get as much out as possible so you have no wastage. Alright. Then back into the container. The reason we put pipe don't paint in piping bags was so there would not be as much wastage. Alright, so you no longer need the bag. Okay, the next thing I normally do is get your palette knife and just give it a quick mix in the container. Now it's a very jelly-like substance, so it's quite easy to mix. This just refreshes it a little bit and gets it all in case there's been a bit of separation in the time it's been made to the time you've received it in the post. Alright, so this is a good consistency to use. Okay, now the next thing you need to do is, whether you're using a paper piping bag or a disposable piping bag, you need to snip the end off. Now I just use the tubes as they are. I don't use any little additions like the couplers that you can put on the end to attach your tubes. I just use them straight into the bag. So basically if I was doing a paper piping bag one, I would just snip right there, throw that bit away, and throw my tube in so it looks like that. If I was to use the disposable piping bag that comes with pipe don't paint, I would do the same, snip the end off there, discard this, and throw my tube in. Push it all the way to the end, just like that. Okay, now all I do is open the bag, get my palette knife and get my pipe don't paint on the end. Now you don't need too much because it does actually go a long way. Do that, hold my fingers so that when I scrape it out I'm getting most of it off the palette knife, and just push it down so that I can pipe with it so it looks like this. With paper piping bag it's a little bit different. A bit more pipe don't paint into the bag. Now, what I normally do is try and keep the seam this line here to the front when I fold my bag. So basically fold this one back over that way, this one back over that way, so your seam's still at the front, and then roll this down and pull it nice and tight. Squeeze your pipe down paint to the end, and then nice and tight so it's like this. Okay, then all you need to do is just pipe with your bag. Just like that. Now these tubes are number 3s, if that helps at all as to what size it is. And then with the disposable piping bag, just the same. So it really makes no difference which bag you use. And that's basically all you need to do. Alright, now so there's even less wastage, I will show you. Okay, because this is on the bench and we don't need it, we just scrape it back into our container. For the paper piping bag, open the bag up, grab a kebab skewer, take your tube out and back into your container, put the kebab skewer in and scrape around the sides. That is how much is left in there. So you can salvage your pipe don't paint because it is a great product and we don't want to waste any, by using kebab skewers to scrape it out. Put that back into your container. Then you can use your palette knife to get all the excess. Alright, now if you're using a disposable bag, you can still get all the excess out. What I normally do is squeeze from the tube up, because you're actually going to cut across there, so basically like that. Cut to try and salvage as much icing as possible. Get this bit here, scrape it, put all of that back into your container like you did at the beginning. Then get your tube out. And same thing with your kebab skewer, scrape around the side and into the bag, the container. So that way you're not wasting any. Now pipe don't paint is freeze thaw stable, which means you can actually put your container of leftovers in the freezer, and you can leave it in the freezer for up to 6 months and then pull it out again. So basically, if you have a cake for one child to do, and then 6 months later you have the birthday of your other child, you can pull it out again and keep using it. I hope that helps everyone to know how to use pipe don't paint when it is pre-mixed.